She's back. Shady Notepad is back. OG followers know when this notepad is out, things are about to get real. Because babes, look. I have a large collection of plants. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my plants. Gardening makes me happy, it gives me joy, all that good stuff. But honestly speaking, there are times where I ask myself, what the F? My friend. There are times where I ask myself, what was I thinking? What did I get myself involved into? Why did I do this? Because if no one else is gonna tell you this, I'm gonna be honest with you in this video and tell you that having a large collection of plants is not all fun and games. There are times where I actually regret it. Like, yes, babes. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a toughie. And I have a brutally honest list here about 5 things I wish someone sat me down and told me before I acquired all these plants. Would I have listened? Probably not, but alright, we've yapped enough. Let's proceed with the first point. Let nobody lie to you, babes. This is an expensive hobby. This is not a hobby for the broke girlies of society. Oh my goodness gracious. And you know, the tricky thing about gardening or acquiring plants is that plants can be very cheap. You could go to your big box store and you get a plant for $5. Heck, if you're even lucky, $2. But once you've gotten the plant, you're going to need soil. You're probably going to need to change the pot. Or you're going to need to fertilize the plant, so you're going to need to buy a fertilizer. One day you're going to see pests on the plant, so you're going to need to get a pesticide. Your plant may not be getting enough light, especially now that winter is coming, so you're going to need to get grow lights. Oh, the humidity is going to get lower now that winter is here. You're going to need to get a humidifier. You see how you get entrapped, and before you know it, you spend $6.5 billion on plants, and you're like, oh my goodness, how did this happen? I'm sure I have spent millions and millions of naira, not dollars, naira, my local currency. But you know, at the same time, plants have actually made me a joyful spender. This hobby will teach you how to enjoy spending your hard-earned money on things that give you joy. Because actually, it is when you spend on the things you want, not on the things you need. Spending on the things you want actually gives you joy. So what makes you happiest? And I learned that from buying house plants, because when you think about it, we don't really need house plants to stay alive, but we still splurge on them. And look, this hobby has made me a happy spender. Like, I'm always happy when I spend now, not just on plants, but on things in general. Like, call it overconsumption, call it retail therapy, I don't care, but I'm always happy when if I go like 1 week without spending on something that I want, not on bills or necessities, like something I want, I feel like a part of me is incomplete. Like, plants, this hobby has made me like derive joy in spending money, which is a good thing for the economy. Actually, it is. So I'm doing the economy a favor, but bear in mind that it's expensive. It's not for the akagums. Akagum is what we call stingy people in my language. It literally translates to a tight-fisted hand, a gummed hand. Yes, if you're not someone that likes to spend, like you're like every time you spend you're having regrets, this hobby is not for you. Maybe go for a cheaper hobby. Yeah, so it's expensive, but the plus side is that it makes you a joyful spender, and I think we need more joyful spenders in this world. Yeah, we do. Now, moving on to my absolutely least favorite. There's absolutely nothing joyful about this. This is the one point that sometimes makes me want to throw away all these plants. It is the fact that pests are inevitable. Oh my goodness gracious, you will always encounter pests. You will certainly encounter pests. Look, you will spend like, I would say, 60% of this hobby, especially if you have a large collection like I do, you will spend it battling pests, buying one pest product after the other, from systemic to neem oil to this to this to, oh my goodness gracious. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's not something you're doing wrong. In fact, the healthier your collection is, the more appealing it is going to be for the pest. Because pests are not going to come to a plant that is struggling. No, they're going to pick a plant that is looking healthy and yummy so that they can live off that plant. So just get ready to encounter every single pest, from aphids to thrips. You guys that are growing your plants indoors, you don't even know how lucky you are, because the pests outdoors are friggin' gangster. Like, have you ever tried to contain African lizards before? I'm battling African agama lizards, and you can never win those lizards. I'm not gonna scare you. What has truly helped me, like has truly greatly helped to keep the pest at bay to a certain degree, is getting a systemic pesticide. I talk about the systemic pesticide a whole lot. I'm gonna insert B-rolls. That has greatly helped. What any systemic pesticide would do, you do want to use it cautiously, because systemics are quite toxic and they can be detrimental to the environment. But just bear in mind that pests are inevitable, and the larger your collection, the more pests you're gonna have. It can get very messy. Oh, Jesus Christ. When you have so many plants, you're gonna spend at least 70% of your life cleaning up mess. Because there's always going to be a plant that tumbles and spills over substrate on the floor. There's always going to be that water propagation that will spill, and then water has been spilled on the ground. In fact, there's a water spill there waiting for me to clean it. When I'm done with this video, there's always dirt and soil everywhere, and if you're not the type of person that is quick to clean, you can end up with like a very messy house or a very messy space. So a large collection can either do one of three things. If you're a messy person, it can make your home even messier, because you're just gonna compound the dirt. The second thing is that it can actually train you to clean up after yourself and to be more tidy. Like someone like me, I won't say I was the tidiest person, but the moment I got into plants, I quickly realized, oh my God, I have to quickly clean up after myself, because I grew my plants in the rented space, and I didn't want my neighbors or my landlord to think, oh my God, this boy is making such a mess. So I used to be somebody who used to procrastinate cleaning up, but now I'm just like, I'm quicker and better at cleaning up and tidying up thanks to all these guys. Which leads me to the third thing. It can make you a much cleaner person. Like I said, I used to be very untidy before, but now that I have a large collection of plants, I am very, very like tidy, clean. It will certainly make you more of a detailed cleaner. You start paying more attention to spots and ensuring that everywhere is clean, free from dirt. So it could potentially overall make you a cleaner person. But the fact of the matter is that there is no avoiding it. You're going to be cleaning a lot of mess. So just get ready for that. So, okay? Another thing is, it's a lot of work, babes. It's a lot of physical work. Physical manual work that sometimes isn't cute. I tell people, look, I don't need to have a gym membership, because have you seen the work I do taking care of these children? It's my plants. Oh my God, you're either lifting up heavy pots, or you're repotting, or you're walking underneath the sun. Some of you will notice that there are certain times that my skin will look tanned. There are certain times where I appear more lighter skin. Well, it's because there are times I'm underneath the hot Nigerian sun, baking and looking like a hot mess, because I'm trying to take care of this, my children. I think I have footage of that somewhere.
Oh my God, what is that?
Yes. So in between watering these plants, fertilizing them, treating them for pests, cleaning them up, it is actually a lot of work. And if you do not put in the work, the fact of the matter is that it will show in your collection. Your collection will start looking busted and crusted. So babes, it's definitely something that requires you to be hands-on. There's always something that needs to be done. Like sometimes I could literally be in the garden for hours, because there's always something that has to be done. So babes, if you're not ready to put in the work and you're not ready for the responsibility, don't get yourself a large collection of plants. Manage 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5. Don't go and start acquiring dozens if you're not ready to put in the work. It takes a lot of work, and it's not always cute work sometimes, okay? Oh, now this last one, we're gonna have to be serious. I'm gonna put the microphone here so we can you can hold my hand while I say this. So this hobby can become quite addictive. We don't talk about this enough in this community. Please keep holding my hand, babe. But it can actually become addictive and obsessive. I have a video where I share how it actually led me into debt. The fact of the matter is, like, plants actually make us happy. It stimulates our dopamine levels, and anything that stimulates our dopamine can become addictive. We can become attached and obsessed to it, and houseplants and gardening are no exception. The other day on TikTok, I was watching this baby and I could just tell that she had become a bit obsessed with this hobby because she was getting all these plant tattoos, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, that's crazy. That is how obsessive this hobby can be. It can consume your life if you do not approach it with some caution. It can consume your life to the point of that is all you think about, which can ultimately affect your relationships with people. Like, it gets that serious and it gets that deep. It can also mess up your finances if you're not careful, because you find yourself spending. Like every addiction, you find yourself just spending and spending and spending. So it can become very obsessive. So that's something that needs to be said, and something that we need to discuss about more often. But on the flip side, it can completely change your life for the better. I will not be honest with you if I say plants did not change my life for the. I've shared my story before. Plants changed my life. I used to be a broke, depressed biatch before I got into plants. But the moment I got into plants, not only did it make me happier, it gave me a sense of value. It gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me a career. It put literally this roof over my head. So it can change your life positively as well. So after all is said and done, the fact of the matter is this hobby has been a blessing to me. Yes, there are some times where I regret it. I regret getting neck deep into this hobby, but it has been a blessing. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't change anything. And I'm glad I live in a world where I can grow these in my home and be surrounded by such greenery. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, babe. If you did, as usual, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.